Okay, friends. So what is a cursor? Yesterday we have seen what is a cursor. A database cursor is a control which enables traversal over the rows or records in the table. This can be viewed as a pointer to one row in a set of rows. Okay. Cursor is very much useful for traversing such as retrieval, addition, and removal of database record. So that is called cursor. Okay, friends. And now what we have our next question. What is a relationship and what are they in SQL? Okay. So database relationship is defined as a connection between the tables in a database. There are various database relationship and they are as follows. First one is one-to-one relationship. Second one is one-to-many relationship. Third one is many-to-one relationship. And fourth one is self-referencing relationship. Okay, friends. And we have what is a query? Our next question is what is a query? So what is a query? A database query is a code written in order to get the information back from the database. Okay. Query can be designed in such a way that is matched with our expectation of the result set. Simply a question to the database. What we are asking. Okay. That is called a query. So now our next question is subquery. What is subquery? So what is that? A subquery is a query within another query. Please listen carefully. A subquery is a query within another query. The outer query is called as main query, okay? And inner query is called subquery. Subquery is always executed first, and the result of subquery is passed on to the main query. Okay, let me repeat once because uh, it is some difficult, okay, to understand. Okay, so what is subquery? A subquery is a query within another query. The outer query is called as main query and inner query is called subquery. So subquery is always executed first and the result of subquery is passed on the main query. Okay. Now move to our next question. What are the types of subquery? So what are the types? There are two types of subquery. First one is correlated. Second one is non-correlated. Okay. So a correlated subquery cannot be considered as independent query, but it can refer the column in a table listed in the form the list of the main query. Okay. And what is non-correlated? A non-correlated subquery can be considered as independent query and the output of subquery are substituted in the main query. So these are the types of subquery. What are the types? Correlated and non-correlated. Okay. And whatsoever we have, the next question is, what is the stored procedure? Okay, it's a good one. Stored procedure is a function consists of many SQL statements to access the database system. Okay. Several SQL statements are consolidated into a stored procedure and execute them whenever and wherever required. So that is our called stored procedure. And next one is what is a trigger? Okay. So what is a trigger? This is also an important question. A database trigger is a code or programs that automatically execute with response to some event on a table or view in a database. Okay, I'll give you an example for that also. Don't worry. So what is that trigger? A database trigger is a code or program that automatically execute with response to some event on a table or view in database. Mainly, trigger helps to maintain the integrity of the database. Okay. So what is the example? Example, when a new student is added through the student database. Okay. So new record should be created in the related tables. Okay. Like exam, score, and attendance tables. This is the example for this trigger. So yeah, what is the difference between delete and truncate command? It's so important. Most of the interviews they are asking that what is the difference between delete and truncate command. Okay, so we have to say delete command is used to remove rows from the table. Okay, and where clause can be used for conditional set of parameters. Commit and rollback can be performed after delete statement. Means we will get our data after deleting also in delete option, in delete command. Okay, but in truncate command, truncate removes all rows from the table. Okay, truncate operation cannot be rolled back. Okay, friends. So this is the difference between delete and truncate command. So next, what are local and global variables? Okay, and their differences. So mostly global variables are the variables which can be used or exist throughout the program. Okay, same variable declared in global cannot be used in functions. Global variables cannot be created whenever that function is called. Okay, so now our next is what is a constraint? Okay, so what is that? Constraint can be used to specify the limit on the data type of table, right? Constraint can be specified while creating or altering the table statement. We can see some example or some samples also. Okay, sample of constraints are not null, check, default, unique, primary key, foreign key. Okay, these are some samples of constraint. So our next question is, we did it yesterday. What is data integrity? So data integrity defines the accuracy and consistency of data stored in a database. Okay. It can also define integrity constraints to enforce business rules on the data when it is entered into the application or database. That is called data integrity. And the last one we did it yesterday, that what is auto increment. Okay. So what's that? Auto increment keyword allows the user to create a unique number to be generated when a new record is inserted into the table. Okay. Auto increment keyword can be used in Oracle, and identity keyword can be used in SQL Server. Mostly, this keyword can be used whenever primary key is used. Okay. At that time, we are using that auto increment. So now let's start from today for today. So we'll start from question number 29. Okay. What is the difference between cluster and non-cluster index? Okay. Please drop your answers if you know the answer in chat box. Okay. So what is that? Let me write it. Cluster index, okay, is used for easy retrieval, of data, okay, from the database, right, by altering the way that the records are stored. Records are stored. Okay, so database sorts out rows by the column by column which is set to be clustered index. Difference. So this is the difference between cluster and non-cluster. Now move to the next question is what is data warehouse? Please respond in chat box if you know the answer. Yeah. So what is data warehouse? Okay. Data warehouse is a central repository, okay, of data from multiple sources. Multiple sources of what? Information. Okay. Those data are consolidated. Okay. Comma. Transformed. Okay, and made available for the mining and online processing. Okay, so warehouse data have a subset of data called what? Data marts. Okay, so what is data warehouse? Data warehouse is a central repository of data from multiple sources of information. Those data are consolidated, transformed, and made available for the mining and online processing. Warehouse data have a subset of data called data marts. Data marts, not Mars. So this is called data warehouse. Now we move to our next question. What is self? So what is self join? Self join is set to be query used. Okay, to be query used to compare itself. Okay, this is used to compare values in a column with other values in the same column. Okay, in the same table. What's that? Self join is said to be query used to compare itself. This is used to compare values in a column with other values in the same column in the same table. Okay. So Alias ES, okay, can be used for the same table comparison. Okay, so that is called self join. So now move to the next question. What is cross join? Please leave your answer in chat box. So what is cross join? Cross join defines, okay, as Cartesian, okay, product where number of rows where number of rows in the first table multiplied by number of rows in the second table. Okay. If suppose what? Where clause. If suppose where clause is used in cross join, then the query will work like an what? As inner join. Okay. So what is a cross join? Cross join defines a Cartesian product where number of rows in the first table multiplied by number of rows in the second table. If suppose where clause is used in cross join, then the query will work like a inner join. That is called cross join. Now the next question. What is user defined functions? Okay, so what is the user defined function? Let me write it. User defined functions are the functions written to use that logic whenever required. So it is not necessary to write the same logic several times. Okay. Instead, function can be called or executed whenever needed. Okay, friends, what is the user-defined functions? User-defined functions are the functions written to use that logic whenever required. Okay. It is not necessary to write the same logic several times. Instead, function can be called or executed whenever is needed. Okay, friends. So now move to the next question. Types of user-defined. So we have a type scalar function. Okay. Inline table valued functions. Okay. And multi-statement valued functions. Okay, friends. These type of functions we have user defined, and scalar returns unit, variant define the return clause, other two types return stable as a return. Okay. Now we are moving on the next question. What is collation? Okay. Tell me, friends, in SQL. So what is collation? Okay. So collation is defined as set of rules that determine how character data can be stored and compared. So this can be used to compare A and it's in data A and other language. Give me the let me give the space. Okay. Language characters and also depends on the width of the characters. Okay, friends. So what is collation? Collation is defined as a set of rules that determine how characters data can be stored and compared. This can be used to compare A and other languages characters and also depend on the width of characters. Okay. So that is called our what is collation. So now we'll move to the next question. What is that? What are all different types of collision sensitivity? Or different types of collision sensitivity. Okay. So following are different types of collision sensitivity. Okay. First one is sensitivity. Okay. What's that? A and A. Okay. And B and B. Right. Second is accent sensitivity. Okay. Then Ghana sensitivity. What is this? This is a Japanese Ghana characters. Okay. And we have width sensitivity. What's that? It is a single byte character and double byte character. So these are the different types of collision sensitivity. Now we'll move to our next question. What are the advantages and disadvantages of stored procedure? Please reply, friends, if you know the answer. So, what are the advantages and disadvantages of stored procedure? Okay. Stored procedure can be used as a modular programming. Okay. Means create once. Okay. Store and call several times whenever. Okay. So this supports faster execution instead of executing multiple. Okay, friends, and this reduce network traffic. Okay, and provides what? Better security whom? To data. So this is the advantage of stored procedure. And what is the disadvantage? Okay, there's a reduces. So what is the disadvantages? This is that it can be executed only in the database and utilizes more memory in the database server. Mhm. Okay, in the database server. Okay, so this is the disadvantage of stored procedure. So now move to our next question is what is online transaction processing? Means what? OLTP. Please respond your answers. Yeah, thanks. So what is online transaction processing? Right? OLTP. So online, let me write OLTP. Okay, so it can be easy for me. OLTP manages transaction based application. Showing that blue line. Let me give the space. Transaction based application. Everything is right. Okay, which can be used for data entry or what? Data retrieval and data processing. Okay, so OLTP makes data management simple and efficient. Simple and efficient. Unlike OLAP, OLAP, system goal of OLTP system is serving real time. Okay. So I will give the example. Example is that for bank transaction, daily basis. This is the example. Okay. So what is OLTP? OLTP manages transaction-based applications which can be used for data entry, okay, data retrieval, and data processing. OLTP makes data management simple and efficient. Unlike OLAP, system goal of OLTP, not here, it's of OLTP system is serving real time. Example, bank transaction on daily basis. So this was called as OLTP, online transaction processing. Okay. Now we'll move to the next question. What is clause? So what's that? SQL clause, okay, is defined to limit the result set by providing condition to the query. Okay. So this usually filters some rows from the whole set of records. Okay, friends. Let me give you the example. Example is query that has where condition. Okay, and query that has having condition. So these are the example of SQL clause. Okay. So now move to next question. What is recursive stored procedure? So friends, what is recursive stored procedure? Okay. A stored procedure which calls by itself until it reaches some boundary conditions. Okay. This recursive function or procedure helps programmers to use the same set of code any number of times. Okay. At any number of times. So what is recursive store procedure? A recursive store procedure which calls by itself until it reaches some boundary conditions. This recursive function or procedure helps programmers to use the same set of code any number of times. Okay. So now, next question is, what is union minus and interact commands. So what are those? What is union, minus, interact commands? Anyone know? No. Okay. So union operator is used to combine the result of two tables. Okay. And it eliminates duplicate rows from the tables. Okay. What is union? Union operator is used to combine the results of two tables and it eliminates duplicate rows from the tables. And minus operator is used to return rows from the first query but not from the second query. Okay. Matching records of first and second query and other rows from the first query will be displayed as a result. So that is called minus commands. And intersect operator is used to return rows returned by both the queries. Okay. So these are our union, minus, and interact commands. So now move to the next question. What is an alias command? So what is an alias command? Hmm? Alias name can be given to a table or column. Okay. This alias name can be referred in where clause to identify the table or column. Are you getting my point? Alias name can be given to a table or column. This alias name can be referred in where clause to identify the table or column. That is called alias command. We have example also like select student ID, comma, result from student, comma, exam as where student ID is equal to what is the student ID. Okay. So that is called our alias command. Now our next question is what is the difference between truncate and drop statement? Okay. If anyone knows, please respond in chat. So what is the difference between truncate and drop statement, guys? Truncate removes all the rows from the table, as we discussed above. Okay. Truncate removes all the rows from the table and it cannot be rolled back, right? And drop command removes a table from the database and operation cannot be rolled back. You're getting my point? What truncate do? Truncate removes all the rows from the table, okay, inside the table. But drop statement removes a table from the database, completely table, okay, and both are cannot be rolled back in truncated top condition, okay. Only where in which condition they are rolled back, in delete condition only, okay, friends. So now we have the next question. What are aggregate and scalar functions. Okay, friends, what's that? It's nothing but aggregate functions are used to evaluate mathematical calculation and return single values. Okay, this can be calculated from the columns in a table. And a scalar function returns a single value based on the input value, right? So example are aggregate having max, comma count calculated with respect to numeric. Okay, max or count function. In scalar, we are using ucase parenthesis, comma now parenthesis. What is it is calculated with respect to strings. So this is the difference between aggregate and scalar function. Okay. In aggregate, we are using numerical function, mathematical calculations, and in scalar, we are using string values, single value. Okay. So our next question is, how can you create an empty table from an existing table? Tell me, friends. So this is the command we will give. Select star into take like a student copy, okay, from student table, okay, where 1 is equal to 2. Okay, friends, this is the query we will write it for this question. Okay, so until there we have completed our SQL. Okay, SQL interview questions. So once we see that what is SQL, SQL stands for Structured Query Language. Okay, is a domain-specific programming language for managing the data in database management system. SQL programming skills are highly desirable and required in the market as there is a massive use of database management system. It's called DBMS in almost every software applications. Okay, so these are the important interview questions which they are asking in SQL. For data science also, they are using about SQL questions. Okay. From tomorrow onwards, we will start our Python or data science questions. Okay. So that's it for today. Okay. We are going to end the day here. So have a great day, friends, and we will meet again in the next session, which is tomorrow. Thank you so much. Goodbye.